The first unit of the year in 5th grade is Changing Face of North America, Emergence of a New World Society. For years, learners may have known this unit as Colonial America, but that title represents a Eurocentric perspective. In fact, the title of this unit can be very helpful in framing the learning for students. The arrival of Europeans to an already populated continent caused the Atlantic coast to change significantly due to the interactions between Europeans, Native Americans, and Africans. This caused the emergence of a New World Society. This unit allows students to begin their studies through the lenses of history and geography. In history, the planning template is organized using the concept of chronology. In addition, history conceptual big ideas are present, those of continuity and change over time, unity and diversity, and historical process. In geography, planning templates highlight the organizing concept of human and physical interaction, with concepts of region and place elevated as big idea concepts. The goal of this slide is to help teachers consider what concept-based instruction might look like in class or how it might play out. Here, the right side is meant to represent a possible anchor chart contained within the classroom. Notice how I've placed all of the concepts for the unit at the top. I've included the big ideas and the organizing concepts. At the bottom, a teacher might select a collection of essential questions that they want to explore with students throughout the unit of study. Using a tool like this is at the heart of concept-based learning, because helping students to connect the facts and skills that they are learning back to bigger ideas is the goal. For the teacher, this happens through making artful choices about when and how to guide student learning back to the unit's concepts and essential questions. It is these opportunities that allow students to make sense of their learning. Such opportunities might include turn-in talks, class discussions, or even quick writes. The first organizing concept is chronology, a history concept. Chronological thinking is at the heart of historical thinking. Students should arrange people, events, and ideas chronologically, using timelines as tools for learning. Upon arranging people, events, and ideas chronologically, students are able to think historically and begin to recognize how things have continued to stay the same or change over time. Students can also begin to predict patterns and recognize patterns, thinking about why these patterns may have existed within the context of an early emerging American nation. As part of this learning, students break apart key themes of the era. Students will examine the development of economics over time, which includes barter and trade, trades within communities, mercantilism, and the eventual participation in global trade. They'll also examine the establishment of social and political ideals, which includes social structures of the era, religious ideas of the Great Awakening, scientific ideas of the Enlightenment, and ideas related to freedom of speech, press, and the ability to vote for leaders. To arrive at this concept's understandings, students will determine critical attributes of timelines and create timelines. They'll use primary and secondary sources revealing multiple perspectives to understand social, political, and economic development, and they'll examine and analyze how and why social, political, and economic institutions developed and changed over time. To support the learning goals that are identified within this organizing concept of chronology, you'll find documents within the Stage 2 and 3 document for this unit. Some of the documents you might look for include a possible performance task assessment titled Continuity and Change Over Time, Social, Political, and Economic Development. To support teachers in thinking about the different timelines that might be used within this unit, look for a document titled Using Timelines Effectively as a Tool for Learning. To support students learning about economic development over time, look for 3 documents. The first is Teaching Economic Development Over Time in the Colonial Era. The goal of this document is to help teachers understand economics of the era, while the other 2 documents contain links to lessons and resources. The other 2 economic documents are titled Resources Connected to Early Economic Structures in the Colonial Era and Resources Connected to Later Economic Structures in the Colonial Era. Finally, to support students in learning about social and political development or different examples of cultural interactions, see the documents titled Resources Connected to Social Political Development Over Time and Resources Connected to Cultural Interactions. As a note, all documents include links to full lessons that are often created using primary sources. They also have individual primary sources, websites, and links to Discovery Education videos for those schools that have purchased site licenses for this video resource collection. The other organizing concept in this unit, human and physical interaction, is a geography concept. The ideas within this concept allow students to think about people and how they interact with the land. Sometimes people use the land and local physical systems in particular ways. At other times, the local physical landscape influences people, especially in where they might settle or in what locations they might trade with each other. When we look at colonies within regions, it's easy to recognize their differences. What's most important is to help students identify how different places or different regions cause life to look different. To learn about this concept's understandings, students will analyze resources and consider relationships and connections between variables such as resource use, access to resources, trade patterns, migration patterns, and the development of local and regional communities. Students will also analyze how physical features influence migration patterns, trade patterns, and the development of social, political, and economic institutions. Some resource highlights that go with this section include one titled Blank Maps, which includes a large collection of printable blackline master maps that can be copied and used in class with your students. There's also a document titled Resources Connected to the Migration of People in the Colonial Era. This document helps teachers to see many maps connected to various migration patterns, and these maps can be used and analyzed with students. A few additional resource highlights include a document with examples of assessments that might be used, titled Examples of Assessments, and some support for teachers just learning how to support students in their analysis of primary sources. Finally, teachers are encouraged to join your 5th grade social studies group on Jeffco Schoology. To join this group, you'll need the access code listed at the bottom of this slide. This group allows me to share professional opportunities and offer insights or snippets of information about units of study as you progress throughout the year. Plus, if you have questions about the unit or its goals, you have the opportunity to engage in professional dialogue so you can become more knowledgeable and comfortable with your social studies instruction. Thanks for watching. I hope this has been helpful.